a choice right now, between fear and love. It's just a rock.
Out of the dark night of ignorance and into the shining light of truth.
Expounding reality.
A population of citizens capable of critical thinking.
We don't see things as they are, we see them as we are.
There's a level of reality where everything dissolves into an ocean of energy.
We empower our experience by insisting on our authenticity.
That's very profound. Very.
Expanding reality.
Welcome to Expanding Reality. I am your host, Brandon Thomas. On this episode, a very special one. We have John Paul Rice, who is the president of No Restrictions Entertainment. He had a video that went viral like crazy in 2020. It was a one-off live. He didn't think it was going to do anything, and it changed his entire life, which also, of course, is banned. So it'll be linked down in the show notes to check that thing out. Now, I will say this right up top. We are not going to be presenting this video on YouTube. It is something that I already know based on just 2 of the 20 points that we covered in here are absolutely off limits, and we're just not even gonna play the game. So what we are gonna do is beat them at their own game. So this video will be up in 2 different places. At least. It will be up on Rokfin, which is linked down in the show notes, and it will be up on our website, expandingrealitypodcast.com, which is also where you can expand your experience with us here on the show through, like I said, Rokfin. The link is there. Merchandise, all of the socials, everything is there. Our premium content for memberships, for our expanded content is up there. Make sure that you check that out as well. So, the summary of this is it will not be up on YouTube, but you will be able to find the video linked in the show notes. Along with in the show notes is going to be Corry Diggs, which is a resource service that we talk about on the episode, as well as a lot of other reference links that we discuss in here for you guys to check out and explore. So make sure that you take advantage of that if you fancy. So also affiliate stuff. So we joined with Food Forest Abundance, and that is, of course, Jim Gale's baby and his pride and joy, and we love Jim. So that is how you get your freedom from fear on. The link is down in the show notes, as well as if you want to start your own podcast, use the hosting service I do. Link's down there. Libsyn, they're phenomenal. Could not recommend them enough. Another thing, if you're going to buy any damn thing from Amazon, it doesn't matter what it is. If you would like to buy anything from Amazon, use my affiliate link. It is also in the show notes. That is how you help the show, just by buying something you were going to anyway. It's like the easiest thing ever. So we're super excited to be a part of that. So there was a lot in there, guys, but beyond anything, just a heads up, I guess, for the listeners. This isn't your normal show about UFOs and stuff that we normally cover on the show, but I just wanted to kind of give a quick overview that it does have some topics that are pretty sensitive, like the porn industry, COVID, pedophiles, politics, society, critical race theory. We talk climate change. I mean, there's a lot of incendiary topics to some people. So this is, I guess, your trigger warning, or just your heads up that you're going to get some clarity on the information on the subjects that I just mentioned. So it depends on how you look at it. Like I said, respect you listeners more than anything. So I just wanted to let you know that up front. So beyond anything else, guys, John Paul Rice is incredible. You will absolutely love his perspective, his passion. This conversation is wonderful. So without any further ado, let's do this thing with John Paul Rice. All right, everybody out there in listening world, thank you so much for joining us. An incredibly special conversation today. We have the great and powerful John Paul Rice here to hang out with us. John, how are you, brother?
Brandon, doing great, and thank you for having me on. It's a real pleasure to be here with you.
Dude, this is awesome. You and I connected over Instagram, which I'm a big fan of that modality in a certain sense, because there's some really cool things, like anything in life, right? I mean, some of it sucks, some of it's awesome. The awesome part is that you and I connected on there. And so, of course, I'm very familiar with your viral video, which we are going to talk about. And so I'm very excited to hear what you've been working on, what you're into now. And you're just one of the most passionate people that I've ever met in regards to human safety and in the collective and in where we should be moving forward, not where we're stuck. And I'm a big fan of that perspective. So before we get into this, do you mind just letting us know just a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thank you for the introduction. My background, for people who may have heard or know a little bit about me, my background was 20 years, roughly 20 years in Hollywood. Got my start in Remember the Titans as an actor, one of the football players, and moved to LA the year after that premiere. Got into We Were Soldiers with Mel Gibson. Had an agent and a manager early on. I was a talented actor, totally raw talent. And in about 6 months, my career path changed into finance, sales, distribution, and creative with a brand new company. It had only been around maybe 6 months, called Senator International, which is a German division of a company in Berlin. And that became a 4-year education for me to learn about the business of film internationally and domestically. Mostly on the business side. Started in creative. I had certain gifts there, but ultimately I didn't gel with the personalities of certain people. And my value system was probably a little too, I guess, good for Los Angeles, in the sense that, ruthlessness just doesn't play a role in my upbringing. Always believed in things in merit. And prior to Los Angeles, at 17 to 21, I took my father's company and generated $4 to $5 million in sales revenue in 4 years. I had no marketing degree. Just I had I could see things, and I didn't really know that. I just realized that a lot of my instincts came later, learned from survival in childhood. So these were being highly attuned and sensitive to certain things, and not feeling right about myself, but still trying to accept myself. But I just always, I went into the banking industry after that while producing movies, and had a near 14-year career in banking, having no college degree, moving my way up to nearly 6-figure salary, promoted 6 times in 10 years. Financial crash, all that. You just see, you're just getting life experience in a job, but you don't necessarily know that it's computing to your higher understanding of how things really are in the real world, right? And making the films that I did, I was totally the guy who thought I would be a big time producer and, move and shake things there in that town. And I had a lot of people tell me that potential, or saw that potential. But a series of unfortunate events, I guess you look at, but it's grateful that they occurred, was that I ended up making my own films and financing them with some investors, crowdfunding, and my own money. And 7 films later, I'm into my 8th, and they're independent films that took me down a path that actually took me out of Hollywood, because of the fact that when I looked back on all the subject matter of what I had done in features, not documentaries, dealing with 1 Hour Fantasy Girl and prostitution, dealing with Memories of a Lost Love, which is probably at least my personal favorite, which is about child abuse in the home. But it's done in such a way that it's a mind bender, but it's not horrific. There's nothing graphic really about it. It's the idea of what reality is and what is real and what isn't real. And then getting into other things on parallel dimensions and life force, and being led then into mental health of young men in college who have 1 year to go before they graduate and they fall in love. And it's not some, gay porn titillation film. In fact, it's a story that's universal, which is what happens to the person that you love who isn't there anymore, who doesn't have access to reality the way you knew them to be as that person. And what do? And what is real love? It's not when everything's going well. It's when things get tough and don't make sense. And you have to take greater leaps of faith in things that you don't understand or don't have the power to control. And then it leads you into human trafficking of children, which was not expected to happen, but neither was the election of Donald Trump. And so, as I tell people, it doesn't matter what your thoughts are about him personally. He blew a hole through reality. And for anybody who was willing to look into that hole and peek around the curtain, you saw a whole other world.